Hello, I'm Michael Kurland, CEO and co-founder of Branded Group, an award-winning facility maintenance and construction management company that services multi-site commercial properties such as retail, restaurants, healthcare facilities, and educational institutions. Welcome to the Be Better podcast. Each week, I interview thought leaders from a variety of industries who will share their stories and the lessons they learn as they strive to be better for their clients, partners, employees, and their community. Are you ready to be better?
We started this journey about 6 years ago to be better. We moved out to California and started Branded Group, coming from another company in our industry where things weren't always better. And we learned everything, me and my two business partners, we learned everything in this industry, how to do what we do. And how to do what we don't want to do. So we came and started Branded Group, and we started with being better to our employees, our subcontractors, our community, and our clients. And in 2020, I've started our fifth initiative of being better to ourselves. So I wanted to welcome Tatiana Torres today to the show. She is with VF Company, or actually just VF, sorry. She's with VF. So Tatiana and I are great friends. She's been on this Be Better journey with Branded Group for about 5 years.
Yeah, I would say about 5 years, 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah, I feel like I've been able to progress on this journey with you almost the whole time. So it's very special to me as well, you know.
Yeah, it's yes, you've participated in a lot of our give backs to the community. Mm-hmm. So that's, one of the great initiatives, and definitely one of the reasons why I wanted you to be one of our first guests on the show. So
awesome. Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And why don't you tell our audience what do you do and why do you do it?
So I am the retail facilities manager for VF. And so just because I'm sure people out there are asking, what is VF? VF is a conglomerate of companies that includes Vans, Timberland, The North Face, and about 8 other retail brands currently. And so I am the manager of the department that does all the retail facilities for all of their brick and mortar locations and also their showrooms and spaces of that nature. So it's definitely a very dynamic world. And I do it because I, kind of leaning into the Be Better right off the bat. Any job where you can feel like you make a difference is important to me, even if it's the difference that it's just somebody not having to deal with nonsense longer than they should, whether it be an overflowing toilet or, whatever. And I've been doing it for about 6 years in the current space.
And so why do you do it?
I do it. Well, I would be lying if I said that I didn't get into it because it was a job. You know
right.
what I mean? We all live to make that paper, if you will. But I still do it because I feel like I'm good at it. Most days anyway. And I feel like it's something where I can contribute to the store team's experience. And by that extension, the customer's experience by ensuring that I'm doing what I do as best as possible.
And does that drive you? Working in there, trying to be better for your store team and your customers?
It does. I'm trying to get that same drive to my department at this time. I will say that there are a lot of challenges because of, while our goal is to be better for the store and to be better for the customer, it's not always an easy journey to do so.
There's a lot of red tape.
There's a lot of red tape, and there's a lot of personality and a lot of other exterior challenges that it's very easy to get mired into. And then just trying to bring that positivity and be better for those people without letting all those exterior things get to you. You know what I mean?
I do. I used to work for Jones Apparel Group in a similar role as a facilities coordinator. And I had to ask 7 people to get an approval, and you had so much red tape. And then I went and worked for my last company, and I was the VP of sales. And what I learned there is that I could never work for somebody ever again, which is part of the reason why I started Branded Group, because now I only answer to myself.
Right.
So that's great. I'm glad that we're talking about being better at VF and for our customers and our internal customers. But what I really want to know is, what are you curious about right now?
Honestly, I would say even kind of speaking to the challenges that I just listed, is curious to see what other people, not just in my role, but in any sort of customer service role, how do they inject their, not only their day to day, but what they do with positivity in the face of challenges, so that you're not constantly dwelling on the negative, because it's not just about work. Because first and foremost, you can't be better with people and bring that positivity to people if you're not feeling it yourself, but then it carries over into your life. You know what I mean? And everything that you do is kind of attached to this negativity, or to this, mindset, and trying to figure out, and curious how people in all sorts of fields, how they find that balance. How do they?
It's a great word.
You know what I mean?
How do you find balance?
Right now, it's just trying to, always look at other perspectives, right? Like, I come into work every day, and the same thing with my team, and even into life. And I have one perspective, and it might color my attitude that day, whether it be negative or positive, but just always trying to be mindful of the perspective coming from the other side,
Absolutely. And you mentioned the negativity. Now, I would say we're both very positive people, and that's why we are considered people persons. But there's days, right, when you
There
wake
really
up
are.
and you're just like, oh man, how do I bring this positivity? Especially because you're the boss at work, right? So you have people reporting to you, and you have bad days. So how do you shake that off and still come to work positively to be better at work?
Yeah. And I will say that's why I'm curious about it, because right now it's very much a fake it till you make it kind of situation, where I'm trying to put on a good face for my team, because I was definitely starting to feel that I was not portraying to my team what I wanted them to what I wanted our department to be about. And that was be positive and be, kind of share, not to sound cheesy, but like a light with other people, rather than allow other stuff to bring us down, and to let that color how we do our job. And then also in my life, you know what I mean? Because if you have one of those days and you let it get to you at work, and then you bring it to you at home, then that colors all other interactions, right? And that's just, it's like a snowball effect. And so, very much into reading some nonfiction right now in regards to work-life balance and bringing positivity into a negative situation. And I think with the world around us currently, there is so much to be negative about, and just trying to change the conversation or change the attitude in finding the bright spots and focusing on those.
And for those of you that don't know, in the facilities world, people don't usually come to us and say, hey, thank you so much for fixing our flooding toilet. They're like, our toilet's flooding, fix it now. You fix it. You didn't get it done fast enough. And then when you do get it done, crickets.
Wow, it's like an email I read just earlier today. Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of remember. And again, it goes to that perspective thing, right? Like, the reason you might be getting that communication, like you didn't fix fast enough, it was too much money, whatever, is because someone is yelling at somebody else that, hey, your sales were down from, 6 to 7, or, and you went over your P&L. And there's so many outside stressors that everyone around us is dealing with with. And that's not just at work, but in life. And just stepping back and trying to remember that. It's hard. It's definitely not an easy thing to do. It's something easy to say and not something easy to do. And even in personal life, like I know people currently who are going through some pretty rough situations. And my reaction to certain things in those interactions might be negative, because, well, what about what is important to me? And what about this thing that I'm dealing with? And just remembering that what that other person is dealing with might be larger or just as important. And you have to step back and be, be very aware of what other people are dealing with, even if you don't know the details.
And I think that leads back to the balance that we're talking about, because if you let it snowball, stuff rolls downhill, and you go to work at 9 a.m., you get this terrible call, you get yelled at by your district manager because you didn't fix the toilet fast enough, and that could carry through your whole day, take it home, and then you're going home to your friends and family and still in a bad mood because of some toilet in St. Louis, Missouri. And so we got to find ways to be better and get that balance in our life. So I like it.
Yeah. And, you were saying I have participated in a lot of the branded give back situations. And one of the reasons I started to do give back things of that nature, whether it be beach cleanups, beach cleanups are my passion, whether it be the Habitat for Humanity builds, was because in this dark world of getting mirrored down by whether it be your job or life and all these other things, at least in those small moments, you can feel like you did something to better someone's life and then hopefully use that experience to make your day better and then carry that into whatever else is going on.
Right. And what Tatiana is talking about is that Branded Group, we have Be Better initiatives where we give back. We once had a 1-for-1 program where we donated a minute of time for every service call completed. But we've grown so exponentially that we would have to hire someone full time to just do charity work. But we do we work with Orange County Coast Keeper, Second Harvest Food Pantry, and Habitat for Humanity, and we've helped build over 12 houses. You've been probably on at least 3 or 4.
2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3, okay. And we've done numerous beach cleanups together. And for the residents of Orange County, side note, don't bring plastic straws or styrofoam to the beach. It's just a bad idea.
It really, every time we do a beach cleanup, like the straws, at least I understand because some people are so like built into this culture of I have to have my straw, right? And then the paper, whatever. But the thing that blows my mind is styrofoam. I'm like, where do people even get styrofoam? It's 2020. How is this styrofoam still on the beach?
It's probably from 1960s.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then even just, if you notice that not just like charity work, but even if you just notice that someone else is having a bad day in the world around you, like taking a moment and thinking, how can I make that person's day better? Because you do get a little bit of a high, right? Like that's why people originally do, I mean, not fully, but there's a reason people do charity work. It does give you this sort of like cosmic high where I feel like I did something good for someone. I feel like I made a difference in this huge world that's around us and just looking to duplicate that as much as possible.
Yeah. I mean, it was for me when we started Branded Group and I was turning a profit for fixing toilets. I wasn't feeling really great about what impression I was leaving upon the world. And that's how we started with Habitat for Humanity back in 2015. And I can say, I mean, the programs that we have are so successful because we have, over 85 employees now, plus all of our local customers and some of our subcontractors that join, even family members that join in with us. And they're not coming back because, they're happy building this house in Fullerton. They're coming back because the feeling they're getting inside, right? So that's what brings them back, and that's what keeps me pushing this forward. It's just I'm making a difference now, right? So, and I know you with the beach cleanups, even you've done them without Branded Group on your own, and you've done a bunch of stuff for vans. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, personally, before I get to personally, just as a company, VF and Vans are also, just like Branded Group, very much interested in giving back to the community around us. And we shut down 2 days a year to do give back projects. One we do for Earth Day, which is usually more environmentally oriented. And then we do another thing called Vans Gives Back Day, where we shut down and we go work in the community however we can. And the beach cleanup specifically were very important to me. So I worked with another organization now called Connects they were doing all these networking events where it was like happy hours and, everyone goes and drinks and you network and that's fine. And it's fun. But at the same time, like, how can we still get the same interaction done, but turn it into something positive for the world around us? And so we did one where it was a beach cleanup where we had a bunch of people, you are a retailer, are you a service provider, like come and do this beach cleanup together and we'll do a mixer afterwards, but at least we can feel like we did something first. And it, also it just mixes it up, right? Like if everyone does a happy hour Thursday at 4 p.m., that gets tired. To do a beach cleanup and then even have like brunch type drinks, at least adds a little, flavor to the weekend.
Yeah, your liver will thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And then outside of business world, I'm very interactive in what's called Dodgers Twitter, which is just people who like the Dodgers and are all about social media. And one of the things we're trying to plan for this year, we've been trying to get it done the last 2 years, but people are so busy and it's hard to coordinate that many people, but is to do let's say the Dodgers have a road game, right? So you don't have to drive to the stadium and you don't have to get there early and you don't have to do all those things. Okay, what if we all met up together at a local Los Angeles beach, did a beach cleanup, all wore our Dodger gear, you know what I mean? And then went to a local bar and all watched the game together, because just that social interaction is what the community was created for. And then just using that community to do something better in the world. And because beach cleanups are my passion, and because we live here in Southern California, where the beach is part of our everyday life for the most part, making it really important to us as the local community.
So you took your platform of Dodgers Twitter and you put your two passions in life, the Dodgers and beach cleanups, and you melded them together.
Exactly. And we're trying to work with, we made some initial communications. We definitely have to carry it further with a couple different institutions in the Dodgers world, if you will. So we reached out to Alana Rizzo, who's a radio on-screen news broadcast personality for the Dodgers, as well as the Dodgers Foundation, in figuring out, okay, maybe not this first one. Maybe the first one is just fans. But if we wanted to do something in conjunction with the team as a larger entity, maybe not directly with the team, but like with people who work with the team, what would that look like and how would we do that? And then even when it's just the fans, would you be willing to post about it so that we can get the word out there? I mean, you never know how many people are going to show up.
This sounds like being better. For sure.
Yeah. And it's just, again, there's so much negativity around us. How can we take those little moments and turn them into something bigger to be better?
It's wonderful that Vans shuts down for 2 days. I mean, a multi-million-dollar company that says, we're just going to not do work for 2 days and we're going to pay our employees. And how many do you have at your corporate office?
Now it's over 600.
Over 600 employees to go do 2 days of purpose.
I think that for me, it's definitely one of my biggest challenges currently with my team is figuring out how to get them to feel that way. And so what I'm trying to do is, even if it's just positive reinforcement verbally and kind of, how do I word it? So, for example, if I notice that if I overhear them have a bad call, or if I overhear them, complaining about something because of the negativity is wrong, first maybe asking a question, well, maybe they're doing it, that other person is doing that because of X, Y, and Z, bringing up that perspective piece. But then also encouraging my team, hey, they're always going to ask for it to be faster and cheaper and whatever. And yes, it might never be faster and cheaper and whatever enough. So even though it's easier to say than do, don't let it get to you. Remember that if you step away from your desk for 10 minutes, the world is not going to fall apart. The toilet is still not going to get fixed any faster if you need to go take a mental health 10 minutes. Go take a lap. Vans offers a lot of learning classes. It's not just business stuff, but a bunch of other how to be whatever type of classes, and just encouraging my team, because what was happening is, Vans offers all these different outlets to be creative or to learn or to just to better your life. And it was getting to the point where the members of my team felt like, well, we can't do those things because there's not enough time. If we step away from our desk, this won't get done. And if this doesn't get done, it's going to snowball, right? Somebody's going to yell, and then it's going to look bad on our department. And so taking that burden from my team and saying, listen, that's not your problem. Yes, we want to be the best that we can be, but also it's important that you be the best person that you can be. So if you want to go take that class, if you want to go watch that band perform at the office or whatever thing is being held, go do that. I can watch the stuff while you're gone, and then just conversely, so that I don't get mirrored in it, just, hey guys, I'm going to step away for a little bit. If there's an emergency, I'll take care of it, and you can just text me and I'll deal with it. But, encouraging to my team that the work is not the end of the world. yes, it's important. And what we do is very time sensitive sometimes. But at the same time, at what cost? And remembering that our mental well being and our attitude is more important than that sometimes. That's definitely a mood in my department. Like, yeah, that's really great. You want us to have work-life balance, but then if we don't do the work, you're going to yell. So like, where are we supposed to fit into that equation?
But I think that's also, again, rolling downhill. It's anxiety. It's created anxiety because, like you said before, you don't know what your boss's boss's boss is going through, and that anxiety is, tenfold getting pushed down onto you. But being able to say exactly what you said, hey, this toilet isn't getting fixed any faster. This is just facilities. Like, we're not changing the world here. We're changing people's shopping experiences, which are very important. But we're not going to have someone die because a toilet didn't get fixed in 10 minutes instead of an hour, right?
Well, and actually, just to add some insight, like I actually talked with you about it not too long ago. We had a meetup where we were talking about that, and you said something about, what do you do with your team to make them, do you do like team bonding events? And like, I had never even thought of that because we're living in this day to day of everything has to happen right now. And so I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that with my team, whether it be splitting up the team and doing maybe a bonding event with like half so that the other half can work, so that that mental burden of thinking that something's going to get missed is not as present. Or is it saying, hey, our department's going to be gone for a couple hours. We will deal with emergencies, but other than that, we're going to peace out for a few hours, and we're just going to, for the betterment of my team, and figuring out what that looks like. So that's definitely something I'm still working on right now, because I know it's going to be so important in ensuring that my department doesn't self-implode. You know what I mean?
It goes back to the culture that you develop. And, I know your department very well, and you have a lot of younger people in there. And just to answer the other question of how do you get them to care, you have to have other things besides monetarily to motivate your team. So whether it be a happy hour or a beach cleanup together or some sort of team bonding event, you got to get them involved in your culture, and you have to have a good culture. There can't be everyone's going to have a bad day, and there's going to be yelling and screaming. But money always motivates, but it's a dying breed of, the father traveling, 5 days a week and coming home and not spending any time with his family and children. Yeah, those days they don't exist anymore. I guess for some people they do, but I grew up with that, and I definitely don't want to pay that forward to my future family. I don't want my children growing up thinking that dad's never around. I grew up, my dad came every other Saturday and Sunday, and I thought he was just some guy visiting.
Like, I definitely feel like that is a feeling with the people that I work with right now, having that still, and just trying to, when I overhear of that happening, like, oh, well, I worked on that when I was at home, or I did this, and just trying to immediately be like, hey, don't do that at home. I can do that, or it can wait till the next day, or just reminding people, like, what are the things that can wait? If they can, let them, because the life that you have at home is more important.
So I think the overall theme of today's podcast is balance. For balance, yes. I think that you have to implement it in your own life first and foremost before you can tell other people to do it. But if your team sees you, I know for me, I make sure every morning that I get my workout in. And I may not get to the office at 6, 7, 8 a.m. but when I am there, I'm fully refreshed because I've gotten my run in, I've gotten my workout in, and that's important to me because I get anxiety if I don't get my workout in. So I then can go and be fully engaged with my team when I'm in the office after I've gotten my morning routine in. So I think that shows the balance. And maybe some people are like, well, why is Mike not here so early and up with the early bird? And it's because I need that balance to be fully focused to help everyone in my team do what they need to do.
I would say that my advice would be to step away, even if it's at baby steps. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just step away for 5 minutes. Go for a walk. Go sit and read an article or something. Just it's really just about, and I encourage this with my team. Breaks, your lunch, even if you've taken your breaks and you've taken your lunch, did you just have something that is very anxiety causing. Was there a moment? Cool. Go take a lap around the building. Just get out.
I highly encourage my team, take a break, disconnect from your computer. Don't bring your phone, walk away and breathe. But this is my last question. I want to end with this. So what do you consider yourself to be an expert at? And what is your advice to our listeners on how to be better in your expertise? And please talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh my gosh. I would say that my expertise is being passionate about certain things, and just stepping away to embrace that passion. And yes, the Marvel Cinematic Universe sometimes is the recipient of that passion, or even just other nerdy things. Like this morning, I had the last 2 days off, and I knew that I was going to come in and it was going to be very busy. But the new Stranger Things teaser trailer dropped this morning. And I know that that's important to a lot of people on my team because we're all a bunch of nerds. And just like, hey guys, let's watch the trailer. You know what I mean? And just, find that thing that you're passionate about. For some people like myself, it's nerdy things, whether it be, debating with you via text why Iron Man is not as bad as I originally thought him to be.
Iron Man 2 is a good movie.
In whatever your passion is, taking time for it. Is it baseball? Is it basketball? Is it hiking? Is it, like you said, you have to get your workout done every morning? What is your passion? Give time to your passion every day.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Tatiana. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. If people wanted to get in touch with you or look up your company, what would be a way they can do that?
VF is very easily found on the internet. I am available via LinkedIn. I try to share as much as the Be Better message from you guys, as well as what we're doing good at Vans on my LinkedIn. And if just, Vans that's where my office is based, has a great social media presence for just their creativity in their community. And I would recommend everybody follow the Vans Custom Culture Instagram. It really just brings light into your life, whether it's skate videos or seeing people's art and music and just expression.
Great. Well, thank you. And if you guys want to get in touch with me, it's www.branded-group.com is our website, or you can look me up on LinkedIn, Michael Kurland. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope that today's episode inspired you to become a purpose-driven leader in your career or your community. There's no doubt that when we lead with purpose, we can change lives. If you enjoyed today's show, I'd be grateful if you would take a moment to rate us on your preferred listening platform. To learn more about Branded Group's Be Better experience and how we provide industry-leading, on-demand facility maintenance, construction management, and special project implementation, visit us at www.branded-group.com. Be sure to follow us on social media, and you can also reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. Until next time, be better.